And for tonight, that is going to be the best of the best from what it looks like as we get into the next couple of days. The chances of rain are going to be with us for at least a little bit, but for right now, it does not really look like it is going to be much of any concern as we get into the next few days. Our chances of rain are very minimal going out of winter and into springtime, but it is possible that we are going to see maybe the occasional rumble of thunder, and that's really going to be about it. I think from excuse me a second. I thought we had a microphone issue going on here, which is pretty normal for Facebook at this time of the night. All right, let's go ahead and get things going. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. This is Weather Overtime for Monday, the 18th of March, and looking at some very quiet conditions for now, and very cold tonight too. We'll take a look at the freeze warning coming up here in just a little bit, so stay tuned for that. We also have the 7-day forecast. We also have a lot of other things, so stay tuned for more there. Our weather window picture of the day, courtesy Langley Roofing. Thank you very much, Mr. I assume Mr. or Mrs. whoever R.A. Vasquez from Meadow Park between Crossville and Pikeville, Tennessee. Beautiful pastoral view there with a few clouds out above the horizon reflected nicely in the lake at the park there. That's our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day for Monday. If you've got pictures, go ahead and send them in to us, pictures at WDEF.com, or you can again find us on social media, or again, that's where we post these pictures to. So if you want to see these pictures up close and personal, head to our social media pages and give us a description. You can remain anonymous if you want to. If you want to make up a name, that's fine. We won't use your online handle, but again, please give us an idea as to what you were looking at and where, so we won't have to guess and make anything up for you on there before we tell everybody what you were looking at there. High temperature today, well below normal, 11 degrees below normal. Low temperature this morning was very much close to normal, but it's tomorrow morning that we're going to be seeing some pretty chilly numbers. So if the normal low temperature is 43, then that means tomorrow's temperatures could be a full category to a category and a half, about 15 degrees cooler possibly in some areas. So that's what we're going to be looking for there. Sunrise this morning was at 7:46. It'll be at about the same time tomorrow. And by this time tomorrow, we will have gained another 2 minutes of daylight. Sunset tomorrow, Tuesday, 7:53. First quarter moon just past that, waxing and heading toward full. And as we get into the next couple of days, again, should see some pretty clear conditions at night. Good for stargazing and moon viewing out there. You can catch our almanac page coming up on News 12 at 11. Bus stop forecast, again, windy and cold and clear tomorrow. Bus stop temperatures, not shirt sleeve weather by any stretch of the imagination. And temperatures tomorrow will be a little warmer, but still below normal, back into the mid to upper 50s. Island Cove Marina and Resort, very much on the quiet side for now, and very clear with a lot of stars being seen out there. Likewise, looking back toward the Chattanooga airports, clear conditions, a little hazy off in the distance toward Lookout Mountain, but otherwise not seeing a major problem here. Looking in that generally same direction, heading over toward Tomahawk Crane and Rigging Camera, and once again, this is where we are seeing construction going on. This is 75 north to 24 west. This is coming up from Atlanta, Dalton, Georgia, and then heading toward downtown Chattanooga and over toward the Birmingham-Nashville split over that direction. So 75 north to 24 west is having some issues tonight with construction going on over there. 75 south past 24 west and east, heading back over to 75 south, going toward Dalton. Looks like no problems at all being seen here. Beautiful sunset tonight. We'll try to get a time lapse going from the Chattanooga Theater Center. Not too many people out and about as there were last week, but the temperatures right now are several degrees below where they were last week. Very comfortable Thursday and Friday. As of right now, we are looking for some much colder numbers out there. 40 degrees with a northwesterly wind at about 9 miles an hour. That's giving you wind chills in the lower 30s. I would not be surprised at all if we see the possibility of some teens wind chills tomorrow morning. Seeing the trees moving around just a little bit, so a little bit on the breezy side here and there, but those wind chills are going to be not too great tomorrow morning, so definitely want to make certain that you are paying attention to that before you head out the door. All right, let's get into it and show you what we've got going on, because as of right now, things are going to be staying very quiet for the most part. We do have, again, the potential for more problems from a front heading our way well back up to our north. That is where we're seeing the next storm system. This is heading our way, but it's going to be several more days before it gets all the way down here. So as it does, that is where we see the best potential of rainfall, and that'll also be from an area of low pressure developing on the tail section of this. There's another storm system that's getting organized toward about the end of this next week, and that is where we may see some problems. Not for us here, but it is possible that we could see a lot more issues coming our way as we go into next week. And the Weather Prediction Center from NOAA and the National Weather Service is saying confidence beginning to increase that a significant winter storm will be affecting portions of the north central United States, northern plains, upper Midwest this coming weekend, Saturday the 23rd through Tuesday, March the 6th. Looks like, again, the probability of plowable snow is going up to about at least 50% possibility there. So it's looking much more problematic here for areas from the Arrowhead of Minnesota out into the Dakotas, which, again, for being that close to Canada at this time of the year, that's not a big surprise. But if you are going to be traveling or know somebody's going to be traveling somewhere up in that general area, former photojournalist cohort from my last station, Brad Nygaard, definitely want to stay tuned out there in your darn near Canada area, as you so call it, out that direction. So that is going to be heading our way for this next week. This storm system heading through by Thursday. The next storm system, the one we just talked about, is going to be well on off way to the east, way to the west of us, and heading to the east into the next couple of days. So for tonight, we're going to be seeing again into tomorrow morning lows in the high 20s to the lower 30s. Mid to upper 50s tomorrow. That's a little warmer than what we've seen for a little bit, but at least will be warmer than what we were today. Some places did not even get out of the 40s. That's how chilly it was. Lows Wednesday morning, not as low as they are going to be tonight, but it will be chilly once again at the bus stop on Wednesday. Mid to upper 60s on Wednesday afternoon. Then that front stretches through the area, begins to form an area of low pressure back toward the west of us, and that starts to kick the moisture up and into this particular area. And that starts to head our way as we get from Thursday into early on Friday. Right now, it looks to be really nothing much more than just plain rainfall, but that's the next storm system that's going to be coming over the horizon, and that particular system is going to be diving our way, but it is going to be giving some problems to the plain states as that system develops into around the lee of the Rockies. That really takes on some pretty strong characteristics. So right in between, right in that area where we are talking about, from Wisconsin to the Dakotas, that is where we could see some big problems coming through for travelers. So please keep that in mind. And again, this is where we could see the potential for some more travel issues out and about that direction. Give me 2 seconds here. I think we've had an issue with Facebook. And let me just double check this here real quick, because if we're off Facebook, I'm going to want to try to get back on again. But looks like, okay, for some reason, I don't know why, but Facebook has reset itself to the beginning portion. I hope everybody is getting this. At least we're on Twitch, and that is going well enough. So it doesn't seem like too much of a problem there. So for right now, I think we're okay. Now, for tonight, this is what we're looking at. The National Weather Services that cover our area. The counties in purple, Hamilton County and Chattanooga right through here, southeast Tennessee, western North Carolina, North Georgia, northeast Alabama, middle Tennessee. That is the areas that we get covered through for the News 12 viewing area. What we are looking for is going to be some very cold temperatures tonight. We've got numbers in these areas, good possibility of a hard freeze just enough moisture to settle on plants outdoors. So it's going to be a big necessity that if you have any plants outside you want to protect, get them indoors in these areas shaded in purple. Again, it's wintertime. Technically, we still have a day or so to go. Wintertime, and at this time of the year, we can get frost and freeze in winter weather. So you're saying, well, duh, why issue something like this? This is for people in the agriculture, horticulture communities who have plants outdoors, who could face a lot of financial problems if they lose their crop, and that's what we're looking at here. So anybody in this area who has plants that they want to protect, now's the time to make certain you are either moving them in or covering them up, because temperatures in these locations could drop below freezing by several degrees in this area from southern middle Tennessee down into northwest Georgia, even around the Atlanta area and farther south. That is where you probably might even want to let your faucets drip a little bit overnight, just to make certain the water is flowing, to avoid any catastrophic frost damage to your pipes. It may sound kind of weird, but it works, and it could save you thousands of dollars in the long run. So please use caution and keep that in mind. That freeze warning goes into effect tonight at midnight and remains in effect until 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If it warms up enough, then the National Weather Service will cancel that, but it's a good possibility that we'll see those freezing conditions stick around until after the sun has risen and heated the daytime surface. So that is what we really need for things to be less frosty. Is this going to happen again anytime soon? It's possible. It's just not in the cards immediately, but it may be an issue coming up down the line. The average, if I'm not mistaken, the average last frost at this time of the year is roughly about close to March 24th or 25th. I'll have to double check that with the National Weather Service, but that is pretty close to where we should be on there. So again, that should do it for hopefully relatively soon for the amount of frost that we have out there. So for the next couple of days, tomorrow is officially the last full day of winter. Spring officially begins Tuesday at 11:06 p.m. So we're about 24 hours away from that. So technically, I call it the last full day of winter, and the first full day of spring will be coming up on Wednesday, because from midnight to midnight we'll already be in the season instead of the changeover of the day happening. Sounds kind of weird to call it the first day of spring when you have less than an hour in the day and you're heading toward the next day anyway. So that's why I have this set up the way that I do. Next, best chance of rainfall, some warming temperatures. That's the storm system we're watching coming in on Thursday into Friday. And then out of the weekend into next week, this chance of rain here is going to be our next best chance of rain off that system we told you about that's going to be plaguing the northern plain states in the next few days. So that right there will be our chance of rain Tuesday, Wednesday of the first full week of springtime. That'll be our best chance of getting some rain, maybe some thunderstorms. Way, way too early that far out to talk about anything in the way of severe weather. We'll keep our eyes open, and especially at this time of the year, you want to keep your eyes open for changes in the forecast to see what might be coming our direction. So please do so. Keep it tuned to News 12, and we'll let you know more about that. But otherwise, outside of a slight dip in temperatures coming up on Friday, thanks to that cold front, I really don't think we're going to be too well off where it comes to sunshine for right now. That looks to be very nice, and the occasional amount of rain showers from Thursday into Friday and next Monday into Tuesday, that's where we see, again, less of a problem out across the area. Chances, yes. Great chances, not at this time. So we'll keep our eyes on that, so keep it tuned to News 12 for a lot more there. All right, later on this week, these could be, as far as I know, the last in-person meetings for Skywarn training in the News 12 counties. So from the National Weather Service in Peachtree City, Georgia, which covers northwest Georgia in the News 12 viewing area, Gordon County, Georgia will be holding a Skywarn meeting coming up this coming Thursday, 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. at the Gordon County Fire Department HQ in Calhoun, Georgia. Now, the National Weather Service in Peachtree City does not ask for your pre-registration. If you go to their website, weather.gov/FFC Foxtrot Charlie, That, again, is where you can go to get information. The contact person for these meetings is listed there if you have any questions. But the National Weather Service in Peachtree City does not ask you to pre-register like the National Weather Service in Morristown, Tennessee, which covers Marion County, Tennessee, and they will be holding a Skywarn meeting the same day in the evening, 6 p.m. Central, at the Lawson Building in Jasper, Tennessee. Now, the National Weather Service in Morristown does request that you please register for your seat. It's totally free. All these Skywarn meetings are totally free. The only thing it costs you is your time and the gas or the pedal power it takes to get to the meeting so you can be trained on this. So that is all you have to, well, your taxes do pay for this, which is some of the best use of our tax dollars ever spent to teach the public how to get ready for severe weather and what to call back in to the National Weather Service. So if you have the ability to join up for Skywarn, please consider it. It lasts about an hour, hour and a half. It depends on how many people show up and how many questions are asked and answered, but it's your opportunity to help out your community when it desperately needs it the most. You provide the sight and the sound and the brain power to look at a storm, hopefully from a safe distance, and tell the National Weather Service what you see is going on. They can take your information and tell everybody else in the area through folks like me and my colleagues here at News 12, through the emergency management warning system, through the local authorities, wherever, what is happening, what you see could help determine what's happening with a tornado warning, a severe thunderstorm warning, anything like that. So please consider becoming a Skywarn meeting, going to a Skywarn meeting and being trained as a Skywarn spotter. The more spotters we have, the better off we are all going to be. So please consider becoming a spotter. If you would like to, if you cannot make your way to any of these courses, then please head to meted.ucar.edu, the meteorological education site from the University Corporation for Atmospheric Research. It's totally, you have to register, totally free. You can take the Skywarn class online whenever you want to, wherever you want to, as long as you have a connection and you register for the website. A lot of great CEUs on this course and great information for understanding more about the atmosphere. I found it invaluable to use these sites to keep an eye and ear as to what's going on, to keep updated on the latest technology, learn things that I didn't know before, so that way I can be a better meteorologist for you out in the community. So please consider becoming a Skywarn spotter either at the meetings, or if you can, go to the Comet METED site, meted.ucar.edu, and you can take the course online, and that'll be a great opportunity for you to learn more about what needs to be done when severe weather is happening. So please consider becoming a Skywarn spotter on there. That'll help everybody out on that. All right, time for our friend in roofing weather poll question of the day. When a hurricane starts moving over a particular area, when the storm is making its way across the ocean, that's an area of low pressure, which again is air being drawn upwards into the atmosphere, and that's why the flow is swirling around in the atmosphere trying to fill that low pressure gap up in that area. Now, as that area of low pressure and the hurricane moves along, the water begins to pile up underneath the storm and moves along with it. So as that storm takes that storm surge with it, then the water ahead of that storm system at whatever location you happen to be, by my pinky finger there, the storm surge comes in and the water rises as that storm makes its way on through the area. So that water can get very deep, in some cases 10 to 20 feet deep, depending on how strong the pull upwards is. So that's water coming in with that storm surge. That is one of the more underrated killers regarding hurricanes. But as that mound of water makes its way onshore, it can devastate sea dunes, sand dunes on the beach. It can devastate beaches, coastal communities, and as it overtops all that stuff, streets, dunes, whatever else you've got along the coastal areas, it's called overwash. So being able to forecast that as part of a hurricane's behavior is a duty of the United States Geological Survey, which is where this quiz comes from. So how long before a storm makes landfall can the USGS typically forecast potential what is called overwash into an area? 24, 48, 72, or 96 hours. 69% of you, the majority, said 48 hours, and only 14% said 72 hours, which is actually the correct answer. So thank you, everybody, for playing along with our friendinroofing.com weather poll question of the day. New question goes up at midnight, so go to wdef.com/vote now or use the handy-dandy QR code on your screen to be able to access our website and make your choice. More coming up as we go into tomorrow, so stay tuned for more on that. Thank you again, friendinroofing.com, for being our sponsor. Thanks to all of our sponsors, EPB, Langley Roofing, Food City, for being great sponsors. We really appreciate your support on that. If you'd like to be a sponsor of any of these segments that aren't already sponsored, contact our sales department, and we'd love to be able to get your name up there so that you can benefit from our graphics and our weather teachings and everything else. So if you'd like to do that, please contact us here at News 12. We would love to see you be our next sponsor if you would, in fact, like to do that. Speaking of which, again, we're coming down to the end of the school season. So weather in the classroom, if you'd like our weather experts to appear, please go to the Food City Weather in the Classroom page at the News 12 website at wdef.com/weather. Follow the hashtag weather in the classroom, and please give us a contact. It would be a great thing if we could take a traveling weather show around to the schools, but I know teachers' time and curriculum and schedules are important, and we just don't. A lot of people have assumed this, I don't know why, that we just show up at a random school and say, hey, let's talk weather. That's kind of a unique idea, but it's also a little bit on the creepy side. So the best way to do this is to get in contact with us through the website, and then we will cross-connect on our schedule with yours to see when we can appear, what your classroom size and grade level is. Kindergarten presentation is going to be much different than a high school presentation. So let us know about that at our website, wdef.com/weather, and we would love to see more about what you would like us to do out there where it comes to weather in your particular classroom. So go ahead and give us a shout and let us know more about what you're seeing out there and when you would like us to be there. This is an important day in weather history. Let me find this back here real quick, because this is absolutely incredible piece of weather history. Today is the day of the anniversary, the 99th anniversary. This day in 1925, the tri-state tornado touched down from the area around southeast Missouri, roughly around the area of close to Cape Girardeau, a little bit farther north of that, between there and St. Louis. Crossed the Mississippi River, made its way across southern Illinois, crossed the Wabash River, and north of the Ohio River, made its way into southwestern Indiana. This thing was on the ground for 3.5 hours, and this thing had a casualty rate of something like 600 people, if I'm not mistaken. Did I make that up? Over 2,000 injured, death toll of 695. Thank you very much, Bill Murray, weather historian on Twitter at WXHistorian, if you'd like to follow along with him on X. Great opportunity to learn more, but really cool to be able to see that was today in weather history. That was a devastating tornado in the time before radar, before the internet, before TV. Radio was in its infancy, so it was amazing to learn about that particular time in history on that. So neat to be able to see that on there as well. Rick Bircher, good evening from Topeka, Kansas. Say hello to the Bircher family for me. Bishop Bob Midget, welcome from Columbus, Georgia. Good to see you guys down that direction. Say hello, Mr. Josh, for me. Thanks, everybody, for following along on Twitch as well, and for everybody else for following along. Nice to have you along for the ride. for tonight. Think that will just about do it. I think we've covered all the basics. Again, don't forget about that freeze warning tonight for areas south of Chattanooga. And keep it tuned to News 12 because, again, we're right in the middle of severe weather season. So now's the time to get ready for anything that may come our direction. This is something we really, really need to be prepared for. Don't want to let our guard down, just like what we saw last week with that last powerful punch of storms. We want to be ready to go just in case something develops in a very quick format. So again, please keep it tuned to News 12, and we'll keep you updated as to what may be heading our direction on here. We're going to be having some interesting schedule changes this week. Of course, the NCAA tournament starts on Thursday of this week, and we are going to be preempted by a lot of basketball. There's no severe weather coming in, so that's very good news because the last thing we want to do is interrupt anything. We don't want to ever interrupt anything on air if we can avoid it. But because we are tasked to bring information to the community, we have to be able to let people know what is happening. And so if there's a life-threatening situation, we will be breaking in to let you know about what is going on. That's part of our duties as broadcast journalists, meteorologists, and whoever else. So we could be seeing, again, at this time of the year, we could be getting some severe weather. We're not going to this week, so the chances of us interrupting for any severe weather during the tournament is basically nil. So good news on that. But keep it tuned to News 12 for sports updates, all the latest news, and a lot of that's going to be going on online. And, of course, I'll have more information about your forecast at wdef.com/weather if you'd like to tune in on that. I think that ought to wrap it up for now. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek, live and direct from Chattanooga, Tennessee, southeastern United States, somewhere at the tip of the Appalachians, southern area, North America, planet Earth, Milky Way galaxy. Somewhere in that area, you'll find us at some point in time. We'll have more details on your forecast. We'll have Chip Chapman coming up bright and early on Tuesday morning, starting at 5 a.m. Eastern. With those temperatures out there, make certain you check in with him before you go for your early morning jog or getting ready for school or off to work, because it is going to be, for this time of the year, bitterly cold, especially if those winds keep up overnight. So please keep a watchful eye on the weather. Even though it's not severe weather, it is definitely something to watch out for to make sure and prepared for those cold temperatures out there. Let's keep everything protected as we head outdoors. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. Thanks for joining us for tonight's Weather Overtime. We'll have more coming up on News 12 at 11, and, of course, more tomorrow morning with Chip, and, of course, online at wdef.com/weather. Thanks for joining us for Monday night, and stay tuned for more coming up on Tuesday evening.